Quick weekend jump back home to South Florida ends this afternoon for the Florida Marlins as the Fish get ready to take on the Houston Astros. And the Marlins find themselves 2 games over 500 now. They're 7 back, actually, in the wild card. 53-69 are the Astros. As Houston gets ready to go, Dan Uggla and the Fish have won 5 in a row. How about that? First time this season. And they turn to an unlikely source for the start. Andrew Miller gets the ball today. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Tommy Hunt. This has been a bizarre 48 hours for the Marlins. The 50-game suspension of Ronnie Paulino, a 5-game win streak, an injury to Ricky Nolasco, and we'll have more on that a little bit later. But for the Marlins right now, Tommy, through all of that, they're playing well. I mean, a 5-game win streak, they haven't done it all season long. How have they done it?
Well, I think we've seen everybody step up, and when you put together a win streak, it's a combination of everything. You can't put together a win streak with just one thing. So a 5-game win streak, the batting average has been there. Runners in scoring position. Remember that awful stretch where the Marlins were 0 for 35. Gabby Hanley, Logan Morrison, Cody Ross have been on a tear. How about the starters? Volstad, Sanchez, Sanabia, JJ, and Ricky. If you get good starts, boy, that's when you really can put together a win streak. And they would like to see a good start out of Andrew Miller to make it a 6-game streak.
You remember that movie, The Accidental Tourist? Well, Miller is kind of the accidental starter in this one. He was brought up simply to be a lefty specialist and get 1 or 2 guys out in the bullpen. But with the injury to Nolasco yesterday, the Marlins scrambling to find somebody to start. It's Miller who steps in. He's had an awful year in Double-A, and for the Marlins, their fingers are crossed that he can come out and throw strikes today.
Well, in talking with Edwin Rodriguez, he's hoping to get 4, hopefully 5 innings out of Andrew Miller. If Andrew Miller, and this has always been said about him because he has terrific stuff, if he can throw strikes, he'll have success against this Houston lineup.
And maybe the Marlins have some momentum. Maybe Miller steps in and feels a little bit of that momentum. Nelson Figueroa is going right now for the Astros. This is a guy that has a good split finger. He'll keep you off balance. He certainly knows how to pitch.
You talk about a guy who's been around 16 years. He's been a professional, but only 4 of those at the major league level. He's never had a full season at the major leagues. He's been around. He knows how to pitch, though, and he can work some young hitters. He can make you chase things.
This has really been an interesting series here. The Marlins have won 2 of this series, the first 2 games, and have won 5 in a row. They'd love to make it 6 in a row. To do it, it's going to be Andrew Miller and the rest of the bullpen. Everybody is available, including this left-hander, if he needs to come out and get somebody out as well. Coming up as the Marlins get set to take on the Houston Astros. Frank Fort inside the Marlins, a sneak peek on the roving instructors.
afternoon, Marlins go for a sweep of the Houston Astros after winning the first two games 9-0 and 6-3. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Frank Fort. Coming up this Thursday, following the Marlins at Mets game, we'll debut our newest edition of Inside the Marlins. We talk a lot about the minor leagues with all the players that have come up from the minor leagues to the Marlins. And, of course, every minor league team is run by a manager and two coaches. But the Marlins also have a staff of 6 in-uniform instructors, all of whom specialize in a certain area of the game. And, again, we'll debut this starting on Thursday night. There are some other early air dates. You can visit our website at foxsportsflorida.com to find out air dates and times throughout the rest of the season. But here's a sneak peek at the guys that are called the roving coordinators. On this edition of Inside the Marlins, we'll look at a group of baseball men responsible for helping develop the team's minor league talent.
The coordinator's role is to oversee one particular aspect of the development process, and each one of them is assigned to a specific area of the game.
There are 6 coordinators in uniform and mostly on the road for the baseball season.
I'm actually out probably about 26, 27 days a month, and I'm flying. I live in Northern California, so I try and get most of the clubs as much as I can, and sometimes it gets a little tight, but you try and fit in 3 or 4 days here each level.
You know why I'm doing this, right? So you don't pull open, because you're not throwing hard right now. I just want you to feel riding the slope a little bit. That's all.
With the emphasis on pitching, coordinator Wayne Rosenthal has a lot of arms to keep track of.
Just being a pitching coach for a team, you have your 11, 12 guys that you work with. And, of course, you get guys up and down. You get new guys. I've got 80-some-odd pitchers I got to worry about down here.
Working in conjunction with the Marlins minor league coaches, the coordinators give the players specialized attention.
Our approach is just that, how to have a professional bat, when to be aggressive, when to be selective, when to see a pitch, and when to attack.
That's all next on Inside the Marlins. And, of course, the twist to that show is partway through the season, John Maley, Brandon Hyde, and Tarek Brock, 3 of the coordinators, were promoted to the big league staff when we had the managerial shakeup. That left the other 3 and Brian Chatton to cover the minor leagues for the rest of the year. Very dedicated baseball man, and an interesting look at what they do as roving coordinators throughout the Marlins minor leagues. That's all coming up. It'll start Thursday after the Marlins and Mets game in New York City. For this afternoon, Marlins and Astros, Game 3 of the series. Rich Waltz and Tommy Hutton will have all the action next.
Speedy Michael Bourne leads it off. Angel Sanchez, Hunter Pence, Carlos Lee in the cleanup spot. Chris Johnson follows him as Michael Bourne takes a fastball for a strike. Brett Wallace at first. Tommy Manzella. Humberto Quintero is behind home plate. Andrew Miller working quickly. Misses up with a fastball. So it's Bourne, Sanchez, and Pence against Andrew Miller. And a sharp ground ball up the middle. Ugla can't get it, and Michael Bourne is aboard with a single to center field. TGI Fridays brings you the defense, and here's the Marlins look in this one.
A couple of changes in this day game. Logan Morrison, Cody Ross. How about Emilio Bonifacio in right field? Chad Tracy with the start at third base. Everything else the same around the infield, and Brad Davis will do the catching. He'll handle Andrew Miller as he did a number of times in the minor leagues this year.
Jupiter and Jacksonville combined, you can see the numbers aren't great. And for Miller, it's been a year of trying to make adjustments and trying to recapture the magic that made him a first-round pick, the 6th overall pick of the Detroit Tigers back in 2006. Angel Sanchez, 2 for 9 in this series. Bourne a threat to run. Miller comes to the plate with a slide step and a bunt. Miller has it, looks at second, goes to first, and gets the out. So the Astros push Michael Bourne up to second. And now Miller deals with Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee.
I think Sanchez actually was trying to bunt for a base hit. He'll be credited with a sacrifice, but looked like he was trying to push the ball and get himself a bunt single. But nicely done by Andrew Miller. And I think, Rich, when you look at Miller, you hope that he realizes the opportunity that he's getting right here due to the circumstances of Ricky Nolasco missing a start.
Misses up high with the changeup.
There were times when we saw him with a fastball that was getting by hitters, a good breaking ball, a changeup that he'd use. And you forget he was brought quickly to the major leagues. You mentioned drafted out at University of North Carolina in 06. He pitched with the Tigers in 07.
And in, actually pitched with them in 06.
Yeah, a little bit in 06, and then 13 starts in 07.
Yeah, you're right. The Marlins, of course, acquired him in 2008. Good breaking ball. He was a big piece of the Miguel Cabrera, Dontrelle Willis trade, along with Cameron Maben, Miller, Burke Badenhop, among others. That one sails all the way to the screen and is caught on the fly by Davis. And so the count is 2-2.
Target down and in, and that's how badly he missed. Therein lies the overall problems of Andrew Miller.
Here's his 2-2.
Oh, and there it comes back with a great breaking ball.
Yeah. I mean, it's almost like he threw the pitch to the screen to set up a snapper like that.
You know, just channel that control, that delivery. And boy, he freezes Hunter Pence, a breaking ball right there. Pence knew it.
And here comes Carlos Lee.
Pence is thinking, look, he just threw one back to the screen. How can he do that?
Lee steps in. And Andrew's fastball is up high. I talked to Brad Davis about handling Andrew Miller as you look at Carlos Lee and his numbers. And he said, whatever he's throwing for a strike, we're going to call that pitch often. The changeup misses outside. And it looks like early on, his best pitch has been his breaking ball.
Yeah, and he's also thrown a number of changeups. The fastball he's thrown, he started Bourne off with a strike, but then he's missed with it a few times.
That's a strike inside corner. Gary Darling is the home plate umpire. Bruce Dreckman, Paul Emmel, and Bill Hahn out on the bases. So let's see if that fastball sets up another breaking ball. Nope, came in with a fastball, and he gets a fly ball to center. Andrew Miller gets through the first. Nicely done, big man.
Job.
And the Marlins are coming to hit. Sports Florida is brought to you by Toyota, moving forward, by AT&T. Find out what's possible with the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, rethink possible. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. Marlins lineup looks this way. The Marlins have won 5 in a row for the first time all year. Hanley Ramirez leads it off at short. Logan Morrison in left. Gabby has done a nice job in the 3 spot. Look at that. 61 RBIs, leads all Major League rookies. Ugla hits cleanup. Cody's right behind him. Chad Tracy gets a start at third. Emilio Bonifacio in right field. Davis behind the plate. And Andrew Miller hits ninth.
Now, there's a look at the numbers for Nelson Figueroa. We've talked about him, 35-year-old veteran, 36 years old now.
And he misses down low with a fastball to Hanley.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Not overpowering. Uses a breaking ball along with a splitter.
Breaking ball, did Hanley go? Nope, no swing. It's 2-0. And we talked about Andrew Miller and the Marlins just trying to get 4 or 5 innings out of Andrew Miller. I think Brad Mills is in the same spot with Figueroa. This is only his 3rd start of the season. He's made 20 relief appearances.
Hanley doing what you have to do. 2-0 pitch. You saw a breaking ball out of the zone. You have to make Figueroa throw strikes.
And he doesn't throw 1 strike in the at-bat, and Hanley's aboard. Hanley has scored 4 runs in this series. And the Marlins have their leadoff man aboard here in the first, and up comes Logan Morrison. There's a look at it. Brad Mills, he's got a roster filled with the rookies. After a flurry of trades, sent 2 of the most recognizable names in Houston Astro history packing, Roy Oswalt and Lance Berkman. Morrison now, and Figueroa fires a fastball in there. Lomo has hit in 11 of his last 12 games. His average just a tick below 300. He was 2 for 4 last night with a double, a single, and a pair of strikeouts. Hanley's running on the pitch. Morrison takes up. Quintero's throw, not in time. He's out!
Oh!
Wow!
Yeah, Hanley, I don't think he's going to argue, but it sure looked like he was in. And we'll get another look.
It was one of those where it looked like runner beat the throw, but maybe on the sweep tag, Manzella got him on the back before he got there.
Might have gotten him up top before he got to the bag. Humberto Quintero, the catcher.
Boy, I don't know. From that angle, it's tough to tell. And obviously, the umpire was on the inside of the diamond. He had a different look, and Morrison loops a single into left field. Here's another look at the play at second base.
He has to pick at the shortstop, Manzella, out of the dirt. As he does that from that angle, maybe he was doing it right on the backside. This is the best look right here. The throw is there. He might have it right there before Hanley's foot was on the bag. He may have gotten him.
I think he's out.
Yep, good call by Paul Emmel at second base. And I guess I went a little bit by the reaction of Hanley, too. Hanley didn't say a whole lot.
Gabby Sanchez up with the count 0-1. So a nice throw by Quintero. Morrison's at first. And the fastball is fouled off. Gabby last night, another nice night. He's had a good series, 4 hits in the series. A 2-run double in the 7th inning. Giving him now 61 RBIs. That leads all Major League rookies. 31 doubles atop the list as well.
This is where it'll really get interesting, because if you get down toward the end of the year for the Rookie of the Year voting, you lead rookies in hits, total bases, multi-hit games, doubles, RBIs. If you lead all rookies in that, in all those categories, how can you not win?
1-2 pitches outside. Snap throw to first, and Morrison is just back in there. Well, I'm with you on that. And if Gabby stays at this pace, he's going to end up with over 40 doubles. Morrison may have tweaked something On his way back. Oh, man.
That's that thumb that he's had problems with. He's holding out a finger.
Not sure if he cut it or jammed it. Yeah, he cut it. You can see the end.
Yeah, that's okay. Thankfully, it's not that thumb. He's had thumb and wrist problems in the past in the minor league. So it just looks like a cut. Be attended to by Mike Kozak. We don't give enough credit to the Marlins training staff. Sean Cunningham, Mike Kozak, Paul Fournier, guys who spend hours, I mean hours, at the ballpark, tending to players' needs. Yeah, be alive for that snap throw Quintero likes to throw.
Gabby with a swing and a miss at a breaking ball. And so Figueroa gave up the leadoff walk now, has a couple of outs, a runner at first. Ugla comes up. And TGI Fridays presents the Astros defense.
Carlos Lee, Michael Bourne, Hunter Pence. We've seen those three in the outfield every game. Chris Johnson, Tommy Manzella. Angel Sanchez and Brett Wallace around the infield. And Humberto Quintero has already had a little say in this game, throwing out Hanley.
Ugla climbs in with a couple of RBIs in this series. Figueroa gets a strike. You see the season numbers for Ugla. Been a huge year for the Marlins second baseman. Marlin fans know that he is the all-time home run leader in Marlins history. But did you know he's the only player in Major League history whose primary position is second base to be a franchise leader in home runs? Well, we had a good pitch to hit. That breaking ball left out over the plate.
Well, as second basemen go, he's going to rewrite the record book. You have a feeling.
Leads the National League with homers in the second half since the All-Star break with a dozen. But he's 1-2 against Figueroa. And a fastball struck him out. And that's exactly what Figueroa does. He knows how to pitch. Braves, you can pick up a 4 for $54 pack. Play Billy Bingo for your chance to win a Marlins batting helmet, courtesy of Metro Ford. 10,000 fans get a bingo card. 2,500 will win a batting helmet. 1-877 Marlins. Andrew Miller goes to work here in the second. Chris Johnson, Brett Wallace, and Tommy Manzella for the Houston Astros.
Tough night for Chris Johnson last night.
And look at Johnson, who has had a great second half. But you're right, a couple errors last night, and both of those errors were key in the Marlins coming up with some big innings.
Well, the one error in that 6th inning, when it appeared the Astros could get a double play, that would have changed everything for Wandy Rodriguez, who was outstanding last night.
Broken bat and a single into left field. Man, the business end of that bat ended up about 20 rows up.
I don't know if I've ever seen a bat, part of it, go that far into the seats on a base hit. I mean, the ball went into left field.
Now, the security guard is not escorting the guy out. He's bringing him up to the bat check area.
Well, that's a weapon.
Yeah, it is.
That other end of the bat, so that's why they have to take care of that. But I don't think I've ever seen a bat go that far into the stands on a fair ball, hit that far.
Here is Wallace. In any major league ballpark, whenever a bat goes into the stands, whether it's whole or whether it's splintered like that, the stadium will take the bat and hold it until the end of the game, and then the fan will pick it up on his way home or her way home, because you're not allowed to have a bat just in the stand in case you wanted to run out and pinch hit or something. Wallace an 0-for-7 series. Miller's breaking ball. That's a swing. Says Bill Hahn. And the Brett Wallace, the rookie, kind of peers down there. Another look.
Well, it looked like he held it.
That's close.
So the Marlins, Andrew Miller, get a little break. Remember, Andrew last year, in his time with the Marlins, 14 starts in 20 games, spent some time also on the disabled list. Had an oblique strain.
And he gets a strike. And it's 0-1. I think, and I don't know if it's a cautionary tale, but it does happen with a guy like Miller, who's so highly touted coming out of college, the All-American at North Carolina. As you pointed out, he appeared in just 3 games in the minor leagues before he was in the big leagues, and made 8 relief appearances with the Tigers in 06. 07, he made 13 starts in Detroit. But he hopscotched from level to level and was never really with a team in the minor leagues longer for more than 7 starts. And then he would move up or go down or go up to the big leagues and then come back down.
Yeah, so 7 starts, that's about a month. I mean, we've seen it happen, and he was so highly touted at about the same time David Price out of Vanderbilt was, who is now so successful with Tampa Bay.
It's a pretty good changeup. He was trying to catch the outside corner, and it just missed.
Boy, that's real close.
Fox track it. Just off the plate, but very close. Well, we came back with the same pitch, and that one apparently just missed. So the Astros have runners at first and second.
Well, a couple of pitches, couple of changeups. It looked like they were good changeups. That one caught the plate. Amazingly, that Manzella didn't offer and didn't swing at the pitch. but two very good changeups in good spots, and the last one caught the plate.
Now he has to go after Humberto Quintero with Figueroa on deck.
Yeah, Quintero has started 55 times behind the plate this year. And the youngster Jason Castro we saw the last couple of games.
1-0 to Quintero.
A veteran catcher, another veteran catcher on the move today.
Rod Barajas has a new address. Fastball misses up. The Mets have traded Barajas to the Los Angeles Dodgers for cash. That was announced today, so the Marlins won't see Barajas when they get to New York.
Interesting, the Dodgers making moves. I mean, they're 11 games behind the Padres, and they're actually tied with the Marlins in the wild card, 7 games out.
There's a strike from Miller. And the wild card standings as play starts today in the National League. The Phillies, the wild card leaders, the Giants a game back, the Cardinals 2 back, and then there are 3 teams 7 games back: the Marlins, the Rockies, and the Dodgers. Two and two. Nice comeback by Miller here. Now he's getting that pitch. Liner to right, Bonifacio in, and a diving catch by Bonifacio. I'll tell you what, Tommy, wherever they put him this year, Bonifacio ends up making some terrific plays.
He is starting to get a Meziga-like credentials. Put him anywhere, and Bonifacio comes up with a nice play. You talked to him before the game. We kind of thought if he was in the lineup, we mentioned last night this would be a good time to have Mike Stanton get a little rest. He'll have tomorrow off. I kind of figured that Bonifacio would be in center and Cody would be in right. But you talked to Bonifacio about that.
Yeah, he said he hasn't played a lot of center in the big leagues, but during winter ball, when he plays in the outfield, it's almost always in right field. So he's played a lot of right field.
So today, making his first start as a right fielder.
Figueroa to center field. That ball's hit well. Cody's on the job, and he makes a running catch. And Miller wobbles a bit here in the second, but gets through it, and we're still scoreless.
Y es presentado por KFC.
Look at that. It's Billy's birthday. Raymond is over from St. Pete. He gave him a big kiss. There's Bernie from the Heat. Stanley the Panther is here. A variety of other furry friends that don't look all that familiar, but you know what? When you have a party, Tommy, sometimes guests arrive that you haven't seen before, and you welcome them in. So anybody in a costume is welcome.
Hey, anytime there's a party, and Billy throws great parties, it's nice to see him surrounded by a lot of friends.
Well, up comes Cody now. Nelson Figueroa wriggled his way out of the first after a leadoff walk to Hanley and a single to Logan Morrison. He came back strong. He struck out Gabby Sanchez and then Dan Ugla. So it's Ross, Chad Tracy, and Bonifacio. Figueroa opens with a breaking ball. Good series for Cody. Last night a key hit, the 2-run triple in the 6th. That fastball misses. And on the Friday night opener of this series, he had a double and a homer.
Figueroa actually started the year in AAA with the Phillies, Lehigh Valley. He's won over 100 games in the minor leagues.
I don't think there is a league in all of baseball that he hasn't pitched in. And misses outside. Figueroa is 36. He's from Brooklyn and ended up playing in Massachusetts at a Division III school, Brandeis University. Ross hits a high fly ball to center. It'll be Michael Bourne looking up into the sun and makes the catch. Up comes Tracy. Figueroa was actually drafted by his hometown team, the team that he grew up watching, the Mets, a 30th round pick in 1995.
You know, the part about that, his last start against the Marlins, he was with the Mets in August last year, end of August last year.
In his last start for the Astros, he beat the Mets and has pitched for the Mets. He didn't get back to New York until the 2008-2009 season. Tracy takes a breaking ball for a strike, and Figueroa's out in front 0-2.
You talk about a guy who's persevered. Never a full year in the major leagues. He's been with the Diamondbacks, the Phillies, the Brewers, the Pirates, the Mets, now the Astros.
Fastball up, Tracy fouls it off. Now, that's just part of the story because, as well, he's pitched in every winter league there is. Venezuela, Puerto Rico. He pitched in independent ball after his stop with the Pirates. 2006, he pitched a season with Long Island in the independent league.
Part of that, I think, is because the year before he didn't pitch, he had shoulder surgery.
And that year that he pitched in Long Island didn't get him back to the big leagues. It got him to Chihuahua, Mexico, to pitch in the Mexican League. And then he finished the year pitching in Taiwan. He had a great championship series in Taiwan. He won games 1, 3, and 7 in the championship series. That's a pretty good pitch, that breaking ball.
So safe to say he's had the surgery, but this guy has a rubber arm and can pitch.
Yes, he can.
You'd love to track it all and total all the innings that he's pitched over the years.
And you can call him a journeyman, and he is, but I think he wears that proudly because he's a guy that obviously in college didn't have plus stuff in terms of
had to go to a Division III school.
Mid-90 fastball or something like that. He almost hits Tracy. He's the type of guy, Tommy, that I think once he is finished pitching is probably going to make a pretty good pitching coach.
Somehow, Chad Tracy was able to skip out of the way of that. I don't know how. If you total it all up, 293 games in the minor leagues, 13 different teams, and 122 wins.
Good battle by Tracy. Joe Monahan having trouble going to his right on that ball.
Well, Joe goes to his left very well.
That's strike 3. Tracy rung up. And so Figueroa has struck out 3 of the last 4 guys he's faced. After all those breaking balls, that's a pretty good pitch.
Pretty good pitch. Had a little movement. Quintero, the catcher, held it right there. Gave home plate umpire Gary Darling a nice look.
Here is Bonifacio now. Runs up the bunt, and he takes a swipe at a curveball. Counts 0-1. Bonifacio 2 for 3 in his start in this series. Scored a couple runs, drove in a couple on Friday night. He had back-to-back good nights. A Thursday night in Pittsburgh, in which he got the start. Bonifacio has been used all over the place. At shortstop, center field, right field. Pulls that one on the ground. And Wallace picks it up and steps on the bag. So Figueroa goes 1, 2, 3 through the second. We are scoreless. Astros have been through the lineup once. Miller has given up a couple of hits. He has a couple of strikeouts and has walked a man. He got a great diving catch by Emilio Bonifacio in right field to help him out of that jam in the second. And up comes the leadoff man, Michael Bourne. That's going to be a tough play. And Miller makes a nice sliding attempt. But Bourne is so fast, I don't know that any pitcher, even Mark Burley, probably doesn't make that
Yeah,
play.
it's his 7th bunt hit. The interesting thing, people have really started to guard from the bunt hits because last year he had 17. So this one's only number 7 on the year, but great effort.
That's a great play
by Andrew Miller. But I think it just shows you how fast Bourne is. With that effort, Bourne still beat it by a lot.
I mean, that's not easy to do for a left-handed pitcher to slide and make the pickup, and then as he's sliding, turn over and make the throw.
Yeah, a lanky left-hander at 6'7".
But Bourne is aboard. Now, Sanchez sacrificed him up in the first inning. We've seen the Astros start Bourne and have Sanchez pop one through the right side already in this series. And Bourne, with his 39 stolen bases, leads the National League. He bluffs, and the pitch is up high.
This is a guy that, because we've seen him go that way, you may want to mix it up in the infield. And if Bourne takes off, you might have Hanley cover second base.
Miller throws over to first. Brad Mills, his first year as the skipper of the Astros. Runner goes, pitch out. Davis's throw is low. It goes into center. Bourne's not going anywhere. Cody was on the spot. It didn't look like Brad Davis had a good grip on that one.
Yeah, it's too bad on a pitch out. You'd like to see a better attempt, a better throw. Might have had Bourne. He's still got a good jump, and he's still fast. That's stolen base number 40. Pitch out was perfect, but you're right. I think in the transition, he didn't have a good grip on the ball. Now we'll see what Sanchez does with Bourne at second base. He may try to push a bunt again.
So 40 bags for Bourne now this year. The count is 2-1. Wow, that one way up. We saw Miller uncork a pitch that missed everything and went all the way to the screen back in the first. But then he came back and he struck out Hunter Pence on a gorgeous breaking ball. There's the ground ball to the right side, and that moves Bourne up. So Sanchez accomplishes what he wanted to do, and that gives the RBI guys, Pence and Lee, a chance to put the Astros on the board.
Well, we talked about it last night, the ability, whether it's good or not, because the productivity isn't there, but the ability of the Astros to put a lot of balls in play. A good job by Angel Sanchez there.
Now Pence got the breaking ball to center, not too deep. Cody makes the catch. Here comes Bourne. Here comes the throw, and he's in there. And Bourne.
There was a little play there. The home plate umpire, Gary Darling, saw Bourne, who was blocked off the plate a little bit by Brad Davis, going back that way, and I heard Darling say, "Easy, Michael, easy, Michael."
He got it. He got it.
He was just going to get his helmet. Yeah, a lot of runners. Cody Ross has a chance right here, but not with the speedy Bourne.
One of the fastest in all of baseball. This is a good throw.
See the left leg, Brad trying to hold him off. At this point, home plate umpire Gary Darling is saying you got the bag, but he saw Bourne heading toward Brad Davis. He said, "Easy, Michael," and Bourne was just going after his helmet.
So the Astros do score first.
Good job by Davis to try to get him off the plate.
You saw with the left hand he got it. And Miller misses down low to Carlos Lee, and he's gone 3-0. Andrews certainly is working quickly. Ground ball to Tracy. Chad sets his feet and fires across in time. But Houston is on the board first, a 1-0 lead. Need a car, truck, or van? Who are you going to call? 1-877-Maroney. By South Florida Ford. Visit southfloridaford.com for great offers. By Checkers, little place, big taste. By Corona, kick back, relax with an ice cold Corona and lime. Enjoy Corona today. And by TGI Fridays, celebrate summer with the new Caribbean menu, only at TGI Fridays. Great day to be out on the boat. The Marlins and the Astros here. It's 1-0 Houston. They got a few Astro fans here. Brad Davis, Andrew Miller, Hanley Ramirez against Nelson Figueroa. A lot of news in baseball this morning. We told you about the trade of Rob Barajas going from the Mets to the Dodgers. Lou Piniella, who is going to step down at the end of the season, announcing that he will step down after today's game. Pinella's mother is ill in Tampa. That's why he missed 4 games a few weeks ago. And Piniella announcing that he needs to be home with his family and has decided to just retire after the ball game today.
Well, we certainly, having had a chance, both of us, to be around Lou, wish him the best, wish him and his family the best.
Davis flies to right. That brings Miller up. We check in with Frank Ford. Frank?
All right, guys, thanks very much. As Andrew Miller steps to the plate, of course, we're all familiar with the roller coaster nature of his Marlins career, but when he was in Jupiter this year, when he was first coming back to pitching after a slight injury, he was part of a combined no-hitter along with Pete Andrelsic and Corey Madden. But that game kind of is a microcosm of Andrew Miller's time as a Marlins. He went 6 innings in that combined no-hitter. Of course, did not give up a hit, but walked 6 and struck out 6. And you showed his numbers earlier in the game at Jacksonville. He's had a lot of practice pitching from the stretch. His walks and hits combined, which is the whip statistic, 186. That's almost 2 base runners an inning. So he certainly had a lot of practice pitching out of the stretch this season, guys.
Yeah, you're right. It has been a struggle for Miller this year.
No, that's a good segue, pitching out of the stretch. It's what Nelson Figueroa has done the whole game here, even with nobody on base. So obviously he feels more comfortable with nobody on, just working out of that stretch.
One, 2 misses inside, and they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ground ball to first. And it out there. Another bit of news today. The local kid, Jared Saltalamacchia, is in the hospital in Boston with a lower right leg infection. And he's been in there for a couple of days. Terry Francona this morning saying that Saltalamacchia is actually doing a lot better today. The infection is more localized and he is feeling better. But they want to keep him in the hospital for 48 to 72 hours to let the antibiotics work. No indication exactly what type of infection or how he got it.
He's had a tough year. Started the year. He spent time in the minor leagues in Texas's organization, then went over to Boston in a trade.
Hanley walked and was caught stealing back in the first. That was a big play. On a throw by Quintero. Hanley was just caught as he got to the bag. Logan Morrison would single after that. And then Figueroa would strike out Gabby and Ugla. The Washington Nationals are on the edge of their seat right now, waiting for the results of an MRI on Steven Strasburg's right wrist.
Yeah, right wrist and forearm area. Had to leave the game last night after 4 1/3 innings against the Phillies with a right forearm strain. I'm going to guess that might be it for Strasburg this year. The second time now he's gone down with an injury.
Jim Riggleman saying that it's probably safe to say that he's going to miss his next start. Strasburg told the club that he had this type of injury in college and pitched through it. Hanley takes up and in.
I would put in a quick phone call to Tony Gwynn and check on that. His coach in college.
Hanley goes after a fastball. Figueroa right now is really dealing. He has punched out 4. But Morrison hit the only one he's given up. 1-0 Houston. Is up. Andrew Miller's breaking ball is hit in the air to left field. Logan Morrison with his repaired finger is out there and makes the catch. Let's flip the phone.
That's a hint.
Only 2 players have worn number 5 for the Astros. Jeff Bagwell is the last. Wow. Who was the first to wear number 5?
That's a number that no one else might wear. They may retire that. My knowledge of Astros trivia isn't quite as good as some other teams.
How about Art Howe?
Good guess. Art Howe was part of our guest last night.
Oh, 1 pitch. Pretty sharp breaking ball misses outside. It's 1-1. What was the toy cannon? Jimmy Wynn.
Jimmy Wynn. I believe his number's retired.
Yeah, you're probably right. Of course, they were the Colt 45s when the Wynn started there. Joe Morgan was an Astro. Maybe Joe Morgan wore number 5, or did he wear 8? Here's a 1-2 coming. Wallace lines it foul. Frank, you want to lob out an Astro of years past for this?
Last night, in fact, he was part of the answer last night, was Hal Lanier. I don't know why that sticks in my mind. I'm with Tommy. My Astro trivia is not quite up to par as some of the teams we see more often.
I always love to throw out this name because I know him a little bit. Enos Cabell.
It's got to be a position player, right? No pitcher would wear number 5.
Enos Cabell, a special assistant to the GM, so he's still in the organization.
Cesar Cedeno.
Jose Cruz.
Some great players in Houston. How about Dickie Thon?
Terrific shortstop.
His career was cut short
Yep.
when he was hit in the face by a pitch. Dickie Thon, a Puerto Rican player. Legend down there. Andrew Miller, nicely done. Strikes out Wallace. All right, let's answer it. I know it's not Joe Sampito. Or Charlie Kerfeld.
Or Norm Miller.
Let's see. Steve Henderson.
He played 42 games.
Come
Steve
on.
Henderson.
What's up with that? You got to give us a question that at least somebody could answer. I don't think anybody. I don't think even an Astro fan would have.
You know what? That's an example of a weak Sunday afternoon trivia question.
Are you?
I generally don't crack on the crack staff, but come on.
They've
had a long night.
Are you saying it's the dog days for the AT&T trivia?
Now, let me put it this way: they've had a short night.
Yes, that's right. Well, night game and a day game. They get here a lot earlier than we do, for sure. Ugla makes the play. It's a nice bounce back inning from Andrew Miller after giving up a run in the third. 1-2-3 to the fourth. Super Saturdays coming up. You got a post-game concert, fireworks, giveaways, autograph sessions, and more. Upcoming concerts, Pitbull and Fat Joe on September 4th. Gilberto Santa Rosa on the 18th. 1-877-MARLINS or visit marlins.com. Hey, look, the Steve Miller Band is coming on October 2nd.
Final Saturday of the season. Final weekend of the season against the Pittsburgh Pirates.
We've seen hats from about 5 or 6 different teams on youngsters. Figueroa throws a fastball for a strike to Logan Morrison, Gabby Sanchez, and Dan Ugla. Figueroa's been a strike-throwing machine. And for the Astros, they got to be happy that he's here in the bottom of the fourth at just 50 pitches. He's been a reliever most of this year, and so him getting to the 7th or the 8th inning is not all that likely.
Well, there's no question this certainly is going to be a bullpen game. And just looking with Logan's base hit in the first inning, he's over 300.
Pulls that one on the ground. Wallace backing up, flips to Figueroa, who gets there just in time. So an out here in the fourth. Did you see that Matt Stairs set the all-time Major League mark for pinch hit home runs?
Who'd he beat? Cliff Johnson.
Yep, he passes Cliff Johnson. 21 pinch hit homers in his career. Did you know that Stairs, I think people forget what a productive player he was.
It's some 30 home run seasons.
He's hit 262 home runs in his big league career. Of course, one of his biggest was for the Phillies in Game 4 of the 2008 National League Championship Series in a win over the Dodgers. Gabby Sanchez struck out back in the first. Figueroa has struck out 4. And those 4 are pretty good hitters. Hanley, Gabby, Ugla, and Chad Tracy.
He's made good pitches. He's walked just one, and that was the leadoff man, Hanley Ramirez.
Grounder out towards second. Sanchez. And Figueroa keeps getting outs.
You know, he's a very generous guy, Nelson Figueroa, and certainly being a New York native after 9/11. And I remember the T-shirt. He was with the Phillies at the time, but after 9/11, he designed a T-shirt, and all the proceeds went to the widows and policemen and firemen of 9/11, and it was a great T-shirt, great thing that he put together. Very artistic guy.
Not only that, but he is reportedly the techno geek, so to speak, of the Astros or whatever team he plays on. He's the guy whenever somebody has a problem with their computer or a problem with their phone, they go to Figueroa.
That's great. You know, every team, now the Marlins have Hugo, who cuts air. If it's not Hugo, every team usually has a player that does that. Great to have a techno geek amongst the players. Because sometimes you don't have time to get the guy to come over and service your computer.
Or to wait on hold for 20 minutes while you're waiting for technical support.
Plus, they can probably understand Nelson Figueroa much better.
Ugla struck out back in the first. Marlins have not been on his fastball. He's been very good with his breaking ball. And fouls that one off. His breaking ball's been so good that he's been able to throw 89, 90 mile an hour fastball by some good fastball hitters.
He's had just enough command of those pitches to keep the hitters off balance.
And the curveball gets Ugla. So Figueroa has been untouchable. Only that Logan Morrison single back in the first Last 24 road games, 6 in a row skid. They've won 36 total on the road. The Marlins, of course, have won 5 in a row for the first time all year.
Now, we talked about the awful start Houston got off to. They lost their first 8 games, mixed in a few wins, then had another 8-game losing streak.
Humberto Quintero, Nelson Figueroa, and then Michael Bourne, 8-9-1 in the Houston order. I think if you're the Marlins, Tommy, and you look at the scoreboard, even though the Astros are up 1-0, you got to be pretty pleased that Andrew Miller's been able to get through 4 innings and give up just the 1 run. That came on a sacrifice fly back in the 3rd.
And you pointed out earlier the bullpen's in pretty good shape today.
Yeah, everybody's available, including Leo Nunez. Marlins are hoping that they need Leo Nunez at the end of this ball game. And Miller walks the number 8 hitter, Humberto Quintero, to lead off the 5th, and that will allow Figueroa to try to bunt and move him up. Randy St. Clair really has not had a chance to work with Andrew Miller this year. He saw him a little bit in spring training, and Miller came up as Figueroa squares the bunt, and that pitch is outside. Miller came up when the team was in Pittsburgh, but he was up there just as a reliever, a lefty specialist, so he didn't really have a side session like a starter would. And then all the stuff with Ricky happened yesterday, and all of a sudden it was Miller who was thrust into the role as starter today.
And you're also getting into an area as far as pitches and innings. If you look at Andrew's last 4 starts in the minor leagues, going back to August 1st, 5 innings, 6 2/3 his longest outings, and 3 2/3, and then a 4-inning start.
He's only walked 2 in this start, so I would expect that his pitch count's probably lower than when he arrived at those inning totals.
Well, that last start, August 16th.
Wow, that was way outside, and Davis did a great job. Number 1, to get a piece of it. Number 2, to scramble and keep Quintero at second base.
Yeah, he did. That was terrific. Yeah, his last outing, he went just 4 innings, but gave up 9 hits and 3 runs.
And again, Davis has to smother another pitch that's low and outside. Michael Bourne has been on twice. He singled in the first. His bunt single and a stolen base set up that whole 3rd inning, and he scored on the sac fly. There's the ball-strike ratio, not good. But right now, it's just a 1-0 game. And he's in danger of walking Michael Bourne here, who's hitting all of 248. There's a strike.
Well, the more guys that get on base in this inning, the closer you get to Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee, too.
Bourne rips one foul, and Miller has come back to run the count to 3-2. Andrew, 25 now. He's a big kid, 6'7", 210. Gainesville, and then off to North Carolina, where he was a star for the Tar Heels. He's come back with 3 good pitches. Count full, 3-2 still. That breaking ball misses outside, and Bourne is aboard. And so here comes Sanchez now with one out, and Randy St. Clair is on the phone for the first time of what probably will be a few calls to the bullpen.
Well, it looks like the hopper's starting to get loose. He'll be first out of the chute.
2 walks in the inning.
Hopper, get the dark glasses off the hat now.
And Miller throws a strike. Sanchez is bounced out, has a sacrifice. If the Marlins can get him to hit a ground ball here, they could get out of this inning. Got good speed at first with Bourne. Catcher running at second, Quintero. There's a ground ball. Tracy to his left. Out there. Ugla's turn. Out there. Nicely done. Chad Tracy, Dan Ugla, Gabby Sanchez, and more importantly, Andrew Miller with a nice pitch. That double play.
Well, he had a speedy Michael Bourne coming right at him. Good pick by Tracy. He had a nice little footwork. Checkers double play of the game. Watch the footwork of Dan Ugla. He gets out of the way. Bourne goes right across the bag and misses Ugla. See Dan dancing out of the way. Look at Bourne trying to reach for him.
I'm surprised Bourne slid on that side of the bag.
Yeah, you usually want to stay because you've got a pretty good idea that second baseman's going to stay on the inside of the bag. That's where you want to go. Bourne went right at the bag, but it was good footwork by Dan to get out of the way. Nice double play.
Cody Ross, Chad Tracy, Emilio Bonifacio. The Marlins still trying to figure out Nelson Figueroa. Cody flied to center back in the second. Five strikeouts for Figueroa, and he has consistently thrown an 88, 89 mile an hour fastball by people.
If you didn't look at the radar gun, you would think Nelson Figueroa was throwing 96, 97 miles an hour.
Cody rolls it up the middle into center field. That's a base hit.
And that's a good start.
Have a start here in the fifth. Only their second hit of the ball game. Their first since the first inning when Logan Morrison looped one into left.
So probably their hardest hit ball because that one hit a little more sharply than Logan Morrison's base hit.
Chad Tracy called out on strikes in the second. And he pulls one foul.
Chad Tracy got a start the other night in Pittsburgh. Came up with an RBI single in the fifth inning.
Pulls that inside pitch, fouling into the seats. Everybody in the East is going at it right now. Washington in Philadelphia, and the Phillies have a 1-0 lead in the third inning of that one.
Oswalt and Scott Olson.
Mets have a 1-0 lead in the third in Pittsburgh.
Boy, he keeps pounding Chad Tracy inside, and Tracy keeps pulling him foul.
The Braves are just about to start in Chicago against the Cubs. Oh-2 on Tracy. Ross at first. Breaking ball, he hammered it, but that one is going to be foul. Tracy, it almost looks like Chad Tracy has moved up on the plate and is just daring Figueroa to try to throw it by him.
He's a smart hitter. I remember after his base hit in Pittsburgh, he said after the game, it was a situation, Cody was at second, and he was just trying to pull a ball. And he reached out and hooked a pitch that was up a little bit and drove it into right center for an RBI single. So he has an idea when he goes up to hit.
Changeup misses outside, and it's 1-2. Quintero moves up and in.
And that's right where Figueroa put it. Davis in 13 games with the Phillies this year, Nelson Figueroa was. Had one start.
Now, Tommy, if you were to buy a swimsuit, which one would you choose?
I would go with the one on the left.
I think so, too.
I'd be quite honest with you.
Here's the 1-2. Oh, he waited on that one, and it kicks under the glove of Sanchez. Ross is digging for third. Boy, the Astros certainly have not helped themselves defensively in this series. Two big errors by Chris Johnson last night, and Angel Sanchez just flat out missed that ball.
Sanchez got a little greedy. He was going to pick that ball and get the out at second base. You can tell by the way he was starting to get his feet set. He never even got the ball. So instead of getting an out at second or even an out at first, he never even touched it. And the Marlins are in business. So now you have to take advantage, which they did last night, of the Chris Johnson errors.
Here now is Bonifacio. This is a big at bat because after Bonifacio, you've got guys that Figueroa can get in Davis and Andrew Miller's spot. Bonifacio loops one out into center. Bourne comes charging in, and he makes a running catch. And that's going to keep everybody at their spots. And so there's no chance Cody's going to score on that. And obviously Tracy has to stay anchored at first. And up comes Brad Davis.
Yeah, not deep enough. Again, half of the bat going up the first baseline. Bourne coming in. And yeah, that was a key at bat. And now it even becomes more important for Brad Davis to have a good at bat. I think they've given Chad Tracy a base hit. Whether I agree or not, it's okay. I always like to see guys get hits. So Tracy gets a base hit.
Tracy's running, hit and run, and it's fouled back. I like the call there. But Davis couldn't put it in play, and it's 0-1. That can't be a base hit.
Well, it is.
I mean, I think they're going to get a notice from the pitchers union on that one. Regardless, first and third. Marlins trying to be creative to get this run in. And Davis pops it up. And so Johnson makes the catch. The Marlins now down to their last out of this inning. And it looks like Hector Luna is coming off the bench. And he's going to pinch in for Andrew Miller.
This is going to be a troublesome spot for the Marlins in the next rest of the season, the next month and a half, because when you have a Ronnie Paulino not there, he gives you a little credibility with hitting a stick that can drive in some runs. Brett Hayes and Brad Davis are not known for that at all. They're known for their catching ability. And so if you get somebody in the number 7 spot, 8 spot, and then you have the pitcher, it's a nice opportunity for the opposing pitcher to go after that spot in the lineup.
Well, Hector Luna had a couple of hits with a rare start the other night. That was Friday night. Luna had a home run and a single. He was 2 for 4.
And I think, Rich, that Andrew Miller was slated to go back out there had the Marlins scored or had his spot not come up in the order. But now Burke Badenhop continues to loosen up.
So it's Luna against Figueroa. And fastball misses down low. You've got Hanley on deck. And so you certainly don't sense that Figueroa will be careful with Luna. He's going to go right after him.
This would be a wasted opportunity. If the Marlins can't capitalize first and third, nobody out.
Fastball misses, and he's 3-0. Right down the middle. Let's see if he gets the same pitch on 3-1.
You would expect he would, especially with Hanley on deck.
Luna certainly has had a good look at him. Yep. Fastball, and he missed it.
Had a little cut to it, moved away. Watch his ball right at the last minute. Perfect pitch by Figueroa.
And he struck him out. Marlins have first and third and nobody out and get nothing out of it. And the Astros continue to lead this ball game 1-0.
Y es presentado por KFC.
Hi, Rich. Hi,
What's up, guys?
Hi, guys.
How are you?
Hey, welcome back, Raul.
Thank you, thank you.
How was Jacksonville?
Wow, man. I leave here thinking I won't have to deal with rain, and over there was an hour and 50-minute delay due to an electrical storm. So go figure. Huh?
You can't get away from the rain delays, can you?
It's something that follows me everywhere I go, it seems.
How about Nelson Figueroa today? He was, he's pitched outstanding for Houston.
Yeah, he did a good job. I mean, he threw strikes, and the first inning he was retiring us on 11 on the road and stuff like that. But I think I was surprised with Miller too. I think he pitched a good game too.
Yeah, I thought that Miller's performance today was pretty impressive in the sense that he gave up the hit in the first 3 innings and was able to get out of the situations, only except in the 3rd inning when Bourne. It seems baseball's cruel, huh? The only hit that was a bunt, and that's how they score the run.
Well, I think as a whole, if the Marlins look at this and say they got 5 innings and 1 run out of Andrew Miller, they have to be pretty happy, so they turn it over to the pen.
Most definitely, and now hopefully Hopper can pitch a few innings and hold them, and the Marlins can get those bats going.
All right, guys, have a good show.
You too, guys.
When he's on run.
You're right, Tony.
I like that. I think Nelson Figueroa faced Tony Perez somewhere.
Hunter Pence drove in Michael Bourne back in the 3rd with the sacrifice fly. And Pence fouls it back.
Well, you're right. Now you just hope that the bullpen can continue. A nice job by Andrew Miller. That's certainly more than I think Edwin Rodriguez and the club expected today. So you just hope the offense can come alive.
Badenhop misses down low. By the way, the latest on Ricky Nolasco, they were talking to Edwin Rodriguez. Ricky told him he felt better this morning than he did yesterday. That one fouled back into the seats, and I think the Marlins are going to take a couple more days to decide if Ricky will try to pitch next week. I understand there's a month left in the season, but I'm going to be smart. I'm not going to gamble. I'm going to do what I can to help the team, but there's only a certain amount you can do if you're not 100% healthy. And our Geico quote of the day from Ricky Nolasco. Fly ball right center, Bonifacio and Ross makes the catch. He has a torn medial meniscus in his right knee, and you can continue to play and pitch on it depending on the pain or the danger of tearing it even more.
Yeah, I think the only concern with a pitcher, a little different. I know at one point Chris Coughlin was hoping to play on his torn meniscus, but the only difference with a pitcher, you would hate to have, it's a back leg, it's a right knee, Ricky alter anything in his delivery to maybe favor the knee and then injure something in the arm, because his arm's fine right now, and you'd hate to see that happen.
Breaking ball from Badenhop is fouled back to the screen. And so the Marlins are going to take a couple more days and see how the knee progresses through treatment and then make a decision. He's next slated to go on Saturday in Atlanta. 0-2 pitch from Badenhop is outside. And so the game's turned over to the Hopper. He and Carlos Lee meeting here. Counts 2-2. If the Marlins can squeeze a couple innings out of Badenhop, and with the game a one-run game right now, they really would be pleased. And Hopper finishes off Lee with a good breaking ball.
Yeah, finished them off nicely, and they had the opportunity because Luna pinch hitting in the pitcher spot. You got to go through the order, so you got a good chance for the Hopper to at least get 2 innings in. He showed the fastball the pitch before, and then got El Caballo with a good breaking ball.
Here's Chris Johnson. He is singled and flied out.
And you sell El Caballo, El Bayo breaking ball.
You know, there was some thought about starting Badenhop in this game. But I think having watched the Hopper in the big leagues, the Marlins like him coming in the middle of a game and going maybe once around the lineup rather than starting a ball game. He seems to be more effective that way.
Yeah, and I think they liked the idea of bringing Hopper in now. Let's say Hopper starts the game and it's a 1-0 game. Now you bring Andrew Miller in, a little more questions about what Andrew Miller's going to do.
Right.
So I think they like that aspect of it too.
Well, the Hopper certainly is on.
That's why we like the Hopper.
1, 2, 3 in the 6th. Marlins down a run. Bonifacio catch. And Emilio Bonifacio in right field. That helps save a run back in the second. He Frostwood Coors Light freeze cam.
Tough plays, yeah. I think fans don't realize, and you hear opposing players talk about it, Marlins players talk about it. Day games in this ballpark probably the most difficult around baseball. Tough to pick up the ball, tough to see from the outfield. So to make a catch like that's even more spectacular.
I don't think anybody thought that this game would get to the bottom of the 6th and be 1-0 with 3 hits aside. But Nelson Figueroa has been outstanding for the Astros. Hanley's up, and Figueroa misses down low. Hanley walked in the first, struck out in the third. Marlins have 3 hits, and one of those should be an error. That was the Chad Tracy ground ball that Sanchez misplayed, but it stands as a hit. Breaking ball is a strike. Ball and a strike. It turned out it didn't cost an earned run for Figueroa because the Marlins failed to score with runners first and third and nobody out.
Well, you hope they don't look back at that situation at the end of this game.
And I guess the question for the Astros is how much more does Figueroa have in the tank? He's at 81 pitches now.
They may be trying to squeeze one more inning out of him.
He's appeared in 22 games, made 2 starts, and had pitched just 42 innings total before this ball game. At the knees. I think Hanley felt that was in the same spot as pitch number 1. Let's look on Fox Tracks and compare pitch number 1 and pitch number 4. Wow.
Pretty much the same.
Yeah, pitch number 2 right there as well. Struck him out. Hanley not happy. He and Gary Darling discuss it.
Yeah, it's going to be close. and that's a good pitch to hit. It's up a little bit more. It's out away, and I'm pretty sure that was within the Fox track square. So I would guess that was a strike. Yep, right on the corner.
Morrison pulls one foul.
Guys like this, like Nelson Figueroa, he'll show up somewhere next year pitching with somebody. The Astros have a former Marlin on the disabled list, a veteran guy, Brian Moeller, who made some starts for him early. The Marlins are also missing Jeff Keppinger. He's had a good year for them playing second base. He's on the disabled list.
And of course, they just traded Pedro Feliz.
Got a couple of hits last night for St. Louis.
Figueroa just rolling right now out in front of Morrison. 0-2. Breaking ball, and Morrison hits it into right center. Bourne is over and makes the catch. 2 quick outs. Here comes Gabby. The Padres continue to lead the West with the Giants 5 back. And San Diego has a couple of solo homers from Chase Headley and Adrian Gonzalez. Tommy, I know that Albert Pujols and Joey Votto have kind of dominated the MVP talk, but don't you have to give some consideration to Adrian Gonzalez?
Absolutely.
Who doesn't have the supporting cast that those other 2 guys have?
Here's one way to look at it. Take each of those other guys, yeah, the teams will be less. Take Votto out of the lineup, take Pujols out of the lineup. But what happens if you take Adrian Gonzalez out of that Padre lineup?
And the Padres have the best record in the National League at 73-49. And that's despite losing the first 2 in Milwaukee to the Brewers. Phillies have increased their lead over Washington 2-0 in the 4th. And the Mets on top of Pittsburgh 1-0 bottom 5. That's a Johan Santana start. Gabby holds off on the breaking ball, and the count goes 3-1. Threw him a 3-1 curveball, and he fouls it back 3-2.
Yeah, he's pretty much thrown anything, anytime. And that's what made him difficult to hit today. And you saw the spot-on control with the pitches he made to Hanley, too.
Fastball, Gabby jumped on it. Left field, deep. That ball's gone! Tie game!
Take advantage of some mistakes. One of the few mistakes that Nelson Figueroa has made this afternoon. Everything's been on the corners. Everything has been knee-high. He got a fastball out over the plate. And for Gabby Sanchez, number 14 on the year. And a huge one.
A Coors Light cold, hard blast.
Out over the plate, belt high. And look at that solid swing of Gabby's.
Dan Ugla takes a strike, and the count's 0-1.
So just like that, a new ball game.
Fastball misses up. Ball and a strike. Douglas certainly has been frustrated against Figueroa. One looking, one swinging. One and two. Even SpongeBob happy to see the Gabby Sanchez home run. Have not seen Patrick at the ballpark today.
And I know you know what you're talking about.
Unfortunately, yes. One, two. Just catching up to that 90-mile-an-hour fastball. So Gabby's home run now, for him, his 14th. That ties him with his teammate Mike Stanton for third. As you look at our Lexus league leaders, JM Lexus price made us #1, 18 years running. Click jmlexus.com to find out how.
And he adds on to his RBI lead, 62.
Which leads all rookies in both the National League and the American League. Ugla waits on the breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Well, a strong finish in the last 6 weeks. I mean, if Gabby ends up with the 20 homers, 80-some RBIs,
40 doubles,
and 40 doubles, those numbers are going to look pretty good when they start the voting. A liner to right. Hunter Pence on the run is there, and he makes the catch. But the Marlins get a big hit. With 2 outs and 2 strikes, Gabby Sanchez ties the game. Inning, Gabby Sanchez with a homer to left field off of Nelson Figueroa. And so Bert Badenhop now with a tie game near the bottom of the order. Brett Wallace, Tommy Manzella, Humberto Quintero for the Astros. Hopper had a 1-2-3 6th inning. And this is all in relief of Andrew Miller, who went 5 innings, gave up 3 hits, and only 1 run. He walked 3 and struck out 3. Tommy, as you look at Andrew Miller's start, there were times where Miller looked unsteady. He uncorked a couple of pitches that didn't even come close, not only to the plate, but to his catcher. But there were also times where he snapped off good breaking balls, he threw a good changeup, and he had life on his fastball.
If he's in the rotation and gets more starts, you would hope that he builds off this one today.
Wallace up the middle, by Badenhop into center field. So Brett Wallace has his first hit of the series. It brings up Manziel. It also brings up Frank Fort.
Thanks very much, guys. Of course, an eventful weekend for the Marlins in terms of injury news and other things. Of course, you got the Cody Ross situation, Ricky Nolasco's injury, Ronnie Paulino being suspended 50 games, and of course, Brett Hayes and Brad Davis now set to do the bulk of the catching, which begs the question, what's up with John Baker? As the bunt is laid down, Hopper's going to have to make this play, and does. The sacrifice successful. I talked to Bake this morning. He said his hope is that he'll go out Friday on a rehab assignment, play about 3 or 4 games in the minor leagues, and then after September 1st, come back to the roster when the rosters expand to 40. Therefore, it would not necessitate a roster move. I said, well, you got cabin fever after being out all this time? He said, you have no idea. It is killing me to sit here and watch, not be able to help the team. So he's hopeful to come back in September, but the possibility of surgery is still there in the offseason for John Baker with that forearm injury. Guys?
Yeah, the Marlins, who spent all of last year, Tommy, with 2 dependable catchers in a platoon situation, find themselves without either now. And with Brett Hayes and Brad Davis splitting the duties.
I know the cabin fever has really gotten to John Baker. He's volunteered his services to come up here and sit between you and I.
That's pure desperation. Jason Castro pinch hitting for Quintero. Badenhop falls behind 2-0. Wallace at second. There's Ullman. As Will gets ready. And the Marlins are simply going to put Castro on. And Hopper has to pitch to a dangerous pinch hitter, a guy that's a veteran, a former Hurricane, Jason Michaels. Michaels last night pinch hit and hit a hard smash to the left of Wes Helms, who made a diving stop. That was a key play in the 7th. There's a ground ball that's fouled down towards the Houston bullpen. Now, last night we told you the best reliever that the Astros have is Wilton Lopez. And there he is.
Yeah, he's getting ready to come in and pitch the bottom of the 7th. Jason Michaels has made himself a very good pinch hitter. He can play all 3 outfield spots.
Breaking ball, he popped it up. Bonifacio is there, and Emilio makes the catch. Big out to get for Badenhop, and now it's top of the order, Michael Bourne time. Marlins trying to win their 6th straight. Here comes Edwin, and with Ullman ready, Edwin wants Ullman to face Bourne. 1-1 game. Here's our Marooney called to the pen.
When you need a car, truck or van, please have a call.
this season. Enjoy the best savings and benefits in the majors. Choose from a variety of plans starting at $85. And, of course, season ticket holders have access to exclusive premium seating in the Marlins' new ballpark. 1-877-MARLINS, the number to call. So here you go, Will Oman facing Michael Bourne. And a breaking ball for a strike. Oman came in and pitched 2/3 of an inning last night. And he struck Bourne out.
Got him to chase a good slider.
Davis keeps that one in front of him. A run on 4 hits for Houston. A run on 4 hits for the Marlins. But the Astros with runners first and second, and Oman 1-1 on Bourne. Crowded him with the fastball, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, Bourne on the year, hitting just 189 against lefties, 17 for 90.
Jose Veras is ready. This is a game in which you might see just about everybody in the Marlins pen. At the letters for a strike. It's 2-2.
Well, as we've talked about, everybody's ready, plus tomorrow's an off day. So you'll have everybody ready and fresh to go Tuesday night at Citi Field. And hopefully you don't need any of them because Josh Johnson's pitching.
Did he go? Bill Hahn says no swing.
Tried to put him away the same way he did last night with that slider. Then we saw Brett Wallace called out on strikes on the exact same swing, or half swing.
Does he go back to the slider on 3-2?
Yes.
Runners will be on the move. Wallace and Castro. There they go. Fastball. Threw it by him. He was thinking along your lines. He was thinking slider.
Yeah, and he didn't even catch up with that fastball.
No, 89 miles an hour. And it was by him. You just saw the 2 runs that have scored in this ball game. Michael Bourne sliding through Brad Davis, And Gabby Sanchez hitting one out of the park. Jeff Conine, Frank Fort, Tommy Hutton, Rich Waltz with you. AJ Speaks is our producer. Jim Hawley is our director. Ken Lee, our graphics coordinator. Everybody else on our crew, all our men and women working here for Fox Sports Florida on a Sunday afternoon to bring you this ball game. And it's been a good one, a 1-1 game. Wilton Lopez, the best that the Astros have in their pen. You see his ERA under 3, and he is 4-0. He comes into a 1-1 game. Cody Ross, Chad Tracy, and Emilio Bonifacio will be waiting for him.
Well, he comes into this game with a live electric arm, kind of a slinger, real whippy motion, but throws mid-90s. Some sliders, some changeups.
He takes over for Nelson Figueroa, and Figueroa was outstanding for the Astros. Aside from the Gabby Sanchez homer, he's our Jaguar performer of the game. Marlins could muster just 3 singles against Figueroa, and early on he had some big strikeouts, seemingly getting all the good Marlin hitters. Certainly his 3rd start of the year.
Yeah, certainly a bonus for Brad Mills and the Houston Astros, but the one mistake, and he didn't make many, he made to Gabby Sanchez, and Gabby made him pay. 14th home run of the year, and that tied at 1-1.
Staying in the ball game is Jason Castro. And so he stays in behind the plate as he took over for Quintero. And it's Wilton Lopez, the right-hander, against Cody Ross. Ross has singled and flied out.
Yeah, they'll see a little more on the fastball from Lopez than they saw from Figueroa.
That one dives out of the strike zone. He can sling it, drop down 3/4. Cody lines that one up, and it almost eats Manzella alive. But he was able to catch it.
Well, out. Yeah, it did eat him up. He just caught it, though. Hard hit ball by Cody Ross. Cody stings this ball. Good play by Tommy Manzella to get that kind of about shin high.
Chad Tracy pulls one foul. He was called out on strikes, and then hit a ground ball that got by Angel Sanchez for a hit. Manzella gets a nice hop up, and Wilton Lopez has 2 quick outs.
Now the Astros are at the front end of a long trip. They don't have tomorrow off. They start a 4-game series in Philadelphia against the Phillies. Then they go on to play the Mets in New York. Then they're on one of those spells like the Marlins. They go home for 3 days, and then they're back out again to Arizona and Chicago.
0 for 2 for Bonifacio. Takes a fastball up. It's 1-0. Cardinals and Giants are back at it at Busch, and the Cardinals have 3 runs in the bottom of the 3rd and a 3-0 lead over the Giants. Looked for a while like St. Louis was never going to win another game.
And finally, the Reds finally lost last night. That snapped their 7-game win streak. They were beaten by the Dodgers, 8-5.
Cardinals 3.5 behind the Reds at start of play. And St. Louis 2 back in the wild card behind Philadelphia, the wild card leader. The Giants are a game back, and so you got the second and third place teams in the wild card playing there, San Francisco and St. Louis. And as I noted, the Marlins are in a three-way tie for fourth in the wild card, 7 back, 2 over. Colorado and the Dodgers are both only 2 over. And so while they've come back down towards 500, the Marlins have shot past it and are 2 over. Wilton Lopez looks tough. And that is strike 3. And he goes right through 1, 2, 3 to 7th. Marlins down in order, going to the 8th, 1-1. For men, hair color. Marlins in New York take on the Mets. Saturday night is now a Fox Sports Florida game. Coverage begins with Marlins Live at 6:30. Adjust your calendars accordingly. Saturday night, a 7 o'clock start in Atlanta. So we've got every game on the road trip, Mets and Braves, before returning home against Washington. Just as we look forward to the Marlins games, you can live forward with Just for Men hair color. It's a lot easier when you unfold your tongue. Veras misses outside. Jose comes in and takes over for Will Ullman.
Boy, Jose Veras has quietly put together a nice year. And he has been equally, if not better, against left-handed hitters, especially since he rejoined the team.
Angel Sanchez, then you got Hunter Pence and Carlos Lee. Strike, and it's 2-1. Big play in this ball game for Andrew Miller was Sanchez bouncing into a 5-4-3 double play in the 5th. It's Bonifacio out there and right. And Emilio makes the catch. So here comes Pence. Yeah, Veras has been especially good when he comes in with runners on base. He has inherited 17 runners, and none of them have scored this year. Obviously, he comes in clean to start this inning. But that's a statistic I think that gets overlooked in a lot of relief pitchers. A guy like Raniel Pinto, for example, year in, year out, his ERA would be in the 3s, but he would come in with runners on base, and those guys would score, and the runs would not be charged to him.
Yeah, I think an important number for guys who come in with men on base or relief pitchers is that inherited runners, and also retiring the first batter. Can they come in and get that first guy out? And Veras has done a good job in that category too.
It's impressive that a guy like Veras, as veteran as he is, would be able to go back down to the minor leagues and develop that changeup and come right back up and have so much success. Pence hits the ball to left field and hits it deep. Morrison goes back, looking up. That ball's gone. Hunter Pence makes it 2-1. Pence isn't sure it's a homer, and now he'll start his trot as it bounced back onto the field. And the Astros get a big home run from Pence and take a 2-1 lead.
Well, Hunter Pence has hit over 340 in the month of August. He's been one of their most solid hitters all year. He got off to a slow start, but really starting to put it all together. His 19th home run of the year. And it did clear. It took the umpires. I was watching Paul Emmel at second, Bill Hahn. It took them a while to make the home run call. That's why Pence wasn't sure.
Carlos Lee is 0 for 3. Pretty good breaking ball. And it's 2-0. Two and 1. El Caballo is 0 for 3 and 1 for 9 in this series.
To answer a little bit, you were talking about Veras going down, working on the changeup. Just to see him and when you're around him, you see that he's very professional about this game. And I think when you're willing to accept that assignment, go down and work on something and make yourself better.
Hanley is there, and he makes the catch. 2 outs here in the 8th. Chris Johnson coming up, but the Astros have a 2-1 lead. Hunter Pence, 19th of the season. Pence has driven in both runs. He had the sacrifice fly in the 3rd. Johnson fouls it back. Did you see that ball bounce right back into the hand of Davis off the screen? He was reaching back to get the ball from Gary Darling. He got one ball, and then the other ball bounced off the screen back into his hand.
See, Gary, I only want one.
Bears not getting that breaking ball on the corner, and it's 2-1. Evens the count 2-2. Marlins will have due up in the 8th Brad Davis, Wes Helms, Hanley Ramirez. I think he went around. He did. Davis picks it up, and the inning is over. But Hunter Pence finds the seats in left center, and Houston is up 2-1. headquarters down by the new Marlins ballpark at 1-877-411-2012. Get down there. It's your opportunity to purchase premium seats in the Marlins' new park. Those are the latest aerial shots of the construction. Marlins now accepting deposits on 2012 season tickets. Of course, the new sales headquarters right across the street gives you everything you want to know and see and feel and hear about the new ballpark.
And if you want to sit where you want to sit and get your first choice, I would suggest get down there.
Here's Brad Davis, and Wilton Lopez pouring in strikes. He's out in front of the Marlins catcher, 0-2. Davis has flied out and has popped out. Pops that one fouling out of play. This, of course, is Davis's first taste of the big leagues. Not on this call-up this year.
Got his first major league hit July 25th against the Braves. Hit a triple off Jair Jurgens.
Oh-2. Lopez misses up with that fastball. So Brad Mills in a pretty good spot right now. He's got a 2-1 lead, and he's got his best reliever out there, fresh, and in his second inning, Wilton Lopez. Lopez has not allowed a run in his last 17 outings, but Davis rolls one into left field for a base hit.
Looked like Lopez tried to flip him the changeup, and Brad Davis stayed back, and he flipped it between that hole on the left side. There's the changeup out over the plate, and keeping the hands back very well was Brad. And he gets that solid base hit.
This scoreless inning streak, which is now at 18 2/3 scoreless for Wilton Lopez, is the longest active streak in the National League. Let's see what Helms is going to do. He'll call timeout. West has got that right side open with the Astros holding Davis at first. Hanley's on deck, then Logan Morrison. Helms shortens the bunt, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. To the Astros holding
room in there with the runner being held and with the second baseman cheating just a little bit.
Johnson is not that shallow at third base. I'm not sure he's totally buying Helms bunting again.
I don't know if I am either.
He squares, drops it down. Lopez goes to second and gets the out. That one a little too strong off the bat of Helms, and Lopez got off the mound quickly.
Yeah, I don't know if I was buying that situation. I think if you make the double switch and you have Wes Helms in the game, you want Wes to swing the bat. Didn't work out that time. And now it's back to the top of the order.
Hanley has struck out twice and walked.
By the way, with Wes's triple last night, do you realize Wes Helms leads the club in triples?
Low strike on Hanley. Hanley doesn't believe it.
Hanley hasn't seen eye to eye with Gary Darling all afternoon.
It's right on the border.
See, it looks worse by the time it's caught by the catcher. By the time Castro catches it.
Hanley took a long walk. Castro wants a fastball in. Ball and a strike. Hanley's season numbers against Houston. His career numbers against Houston, over 400 coming into the ballgame. He's now 51 of 127. 8 homers, 24 RBIs against the Astros. This is game number 30. It's his highest average against any team that he has faced for at least 4 games. Chopper out toward short, out there on the turn, out there. And Hanley bounces into a double play. The Marlins are done in the 8th. Authority of the Marlins may not be reproduced, retransmitted in any form. Accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Fish. A Hunter Pence home run in the 8th inning is the difference in this ball game right now. And the man that served it up, Jose Veras, is still out there. He gets Brett Wallace, Tommy Manzella, and Jason Castro.
There's a good changeup. Last time up for Wallace, he singled up the middle. That broke an 0 for 19 that he was riding. That's not a good ride.
Oh, and 2.
2 good changeups.
Let's see if he gets a third. Brandon Lyon getting ready to come in and pitch in the 9th. Marlins did not have a lot of success against Wilton Lopez. Fastball, threw it right by him, dialed up 94.
Well, that's a great pitch after he saw nothing but changeups the first few pitches.
Here comes Manzella.
You see pitches 80, 82 miles an hour, and then all of a sudden here comes 94, and it's right on by Wallace.
Manzella takes outside.
Well, if the Marlins win this, they're going to have to do it in dramatic fashion.
They're going to have to do it against the Astros closer. That's a strike. The Pirates have come back to take a 2-1 lead over the Mets into the 8th inning in Pittsburgh. Phillies,
that's against Johan Santana, too.
Phillies are still up 2-0 in the 6th against Washington. Cubs have a 3-2 lead over Atlanta in the 4th. That game finishing the series and apparently finishing the career of Cubs manager Lou Piniella, who has decided to step down after the ball game. Foul back to the screen.
By the way, last night the Mets and Pirates in Pittsburgh played a 5-inning rain-shortened game. Mets won that game 5-1. It must have really been pouring because I noticed the rain delay was 1 hour and 29 minutes. That's all. That's nothing here.
No. Two. Cardinals continue to pound the Giants 5-0 in the 5th.
Yeah, pounding on Barry Zito.
Veras comes back and strikes out Manzella. Aside from the pitch that Hunter Pence hit out, Jose Veras has looked really sharp.
Yeah, he has. He's going to be very frustrated if this holds up and the Astros win this game 2-1 because he's had good stuff. He's made good pitches, with the exception of that one to Pence.
There's Jason Castro. He came in as a pinch hitter and stayed in the ball game. Marlins intentionally walked him in the 7th. That's a strike. 0-2. So it's Logan Morrison, Gabby Sanchez, and Dan Uggla in the 9th inning with Brandon Lyon warming up. Veras trying to get it there at 2-1. 0-2 coming. And it's a ball and 2 strikes. The wind must really be blowing in Chicago. The Braves have jumped to a 5-3 lead. They have solo homers from Jason Hayward and 2 from Omar Infante. Aramis Ramirez is homered for the Cubs. Castro hanging in there. Count 1-2. Tuesday night, Josh Johnson in New York. R.A. Dickey, who has had a real nice run in the Mets rotation, will start for New York. The knuckleballer, and the Mets still have yet to announce the starters for Wednesday and Thursday night. Alex Sanabia on Wednesday for the Marlins. Anibal Sanchez on Thursday. Of course, the big question for the Marlins is going to be who's going to pitch on Saturday in Atlanta. 1-2. Marlins have to decide a couple of issues before that game. Number one, the status of Ricky Nolasco's knee. Number two,
Does Andrew Miller's performance today warrant another start in Atlanta against the Braves?
Well, I would think that if it's not Ricky Nolasco, it would be Andrew Miller.
Two coming. Of course, the Braves in Atlanta are the best home team in all of baseball. Atlanta's 44-17 at home. They've lost just 17 games all year at home.
Incredible.
3-2 from Veras. Just missed. Veras walking towards the dugout. He thought it was a strike.
I'm going to guess it just came off the plate.
Yep, it was. Anderson Hernandez. This is Wilton Lopez's spot in the order. Ferris misses low and away. Ball and a strike.
Probably, Rich, with the Mets have the day off also Monday. They could go with either Pat Mish or Pelfrey on Wednesday, and either Pelfrey or Jonathan Neese on the Thursday game. Depends on what they want to do, if they want to give an extra day's rest.
Santana starting today in Pittsburgh and is still in the ball game in the bottom of the 8th inning, despite the Pirates being up 2-1. Lastings, Millage, and Jose Tabata have homered for the Pirates. 2-1 coming to Hernandez.
Sweet revenge for Lastings, Millage.
Jose Veras all of a sudden is all over the place. Bourne is on deck. Marlins have already used Will Oman and Burke Badenhop. Veras gets a strike, and a borderline one at that. 3-2. And he got a break. Castro will be on the move at first. 3-2.
I think the best way to describe Gary Darling's strike zone today, and it's been both sides, both teams, he's been consistently inconsistent. He's had both hitters looking back at him on both sides. Same with pitchers.
A one-hopper to Hanley, fires over to first in time. So the Marlins down to their last 3 outs, down a run, going to the bottom of the 9th. Morrison, Sanchez, Uggla. South Florida, when you need a car, truck, or van, who are you going to call? 1-877-MAROONIE by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 800-947-AUTO. By 5-Hour Energy. Hours of energy now. No 2:30 feeling later. Visit 5hourenergy.com. That's down to this. Bottom of the ninth. 2-1. Houston on top. Brandon Lyon is in the ball game. Logan Morrison, Gabby Sanchez, Dan Ugla coming up for the Fish. Jason Bourgeois is out in left field.
And there's a look at Brandon Lyon. He's converted 5 of his last 5 save opportunities, getting that chance. Matt Lindstrom, former Marlin, on the disabled list now, but Lyon had taken over that role. He has 3 pretty good pitches. Good fastball, a cutter, he has a slider and a curveball.
Morrison takes up and in. Logan singled in the first on a 1-for-3 day. You got Gabby behind him, who is homered for the only run, and then Ugla, who's 0-for-3.
And Lyon, in almost 60 innings, has allowed just 1 home run.
Morrison pulls that breaking ball foul. I think if there's one pitch in the last 3 weeks, his first 3 weeks in the big leagues, that he's starting to see more, it's that breaking ball in on his hands. Out to second, Sanchez makes the play, and Brandon Lyon has the first out of the 9th inning. Yeah, Lyon was a closer in Arizona in 2008. Pitched for the Tigers last year as a setup man. Pitched well last year for Detroit. 65 appearances, an ERA of 2.86. Oh, 0-1 to Gabby. The home run is 14th. Oh, it hit him. Hit him in the helmet. And Gabby is aboard. Sounded like it just clipped the bill of his helmet. And up comes Ugla.
Yeah, you could hear the ball clip the helmet, and thankfully just grazing probably the bill.
Well, the Marlins have their base runner. There's 1 out. Ugla is 0-for-3, and as you pointed out, Brandon Lyon didn't give up many home runs.
But I also pointed out the Marlins, to win this game, are going to have to do it in dramatic walk-off fashion.
Ugla lined out to Pence in right, and then struck out his first 2 times up against Figueroa. Ball and a strike. Ugla checks his swing. Did not go. And it counts 2-1.
That's that big curveball that Lyon features. Sometimes his slider and cutter are very similar.
Tying runs at first. 2-1 to Ugla. Did not check his swing that time.
Yeah, he got it out there. He just couldn't hold it back. Yep.
So it's 2-2. Fights off another slider.
Yeah, you can see that Lyon's really trying to stay away from Dan Ugla. He doesn't want to make a mistake middle in and give him a chance to hit one out.
Gabby hit by a pitch. Cody Ross is on deck. 2-2 coming to Ugla. And he got him. A lot sharper break on that one. And Ugla goes down. There are 2 outs in the 9th. Here comes Cody.
Haven't seen a 3-strikeout day from Dan Ugla for a long time. And just some great pitches by Brandon Lyon there. Dan Ugla just 1 for 11 in this series. Had a tough series.
Cody Ross. Strike 1. Outfield deep. Sanchez at first. 0-1. Fastball, and he fouls it back. Got a pretty good pitch to hit. Mike Stanton is on deck. But Cody's behind in the count, 0-2.
I don't know if he'll see that fastball again, especially the way he went after Dan Ugla.
It's like a slider coming. And it darts outside.
That's a cutter. Good movement.
One and 2. Breaking ball, and Cody was on it. He just gets a piece. Gabby Sanchez home run, the only run for the Fish. That was in the 6th. The Hunter Pence home run gave Houston a 2-1 lead. Marlins down to their last strike here in the 9th. Elevated the fastball. 2-2. 2-2 coming. In the dirt, he holds up, and the count's 3-2. He was 0-2 in this count, and he's done a nice job to hang in there and get the count full. This will give Sanchez a head start from first.
Yeah, this is a real plus for the Marlins. There's the check swing, because 3-2 out, Gabby will be on the move, and a good chance, a much better chance for him to score on a base hit down the line or anything into the gaps.
And Ross has seen every pitch that Lyon has during this at-bat. Tying run at first. 2 outs in the 9th. 3-2 to Cody. Then he fouls it off. Brad Mills, Bobby Meacham. Ross had the big triple last night to drive in 2. He homered in the first game of the series. Another 3-2. Ground ball off the glove of Lyon. Ross is there, and up comes Stanton with runners at first and second. If Lyon doesn't get a glove on it, this game's probably over.
Yeah, so often we see that situation where a pitcher just reacts. He can't really help himself. And you're right, if the ball bounces over his head, the shortstop comes in, Tommy Manzella, and probably makes the play. But because it was misdirected, Manzella didn't have a play, and up comes Mike Stanton for his first pinch hit appearance this year. He's played, he's been in the lineup, not in the lineup this afternoon. He's been struggling, and up there in a pinch hitting spot, in a key spot in this game.
Mike Stanton is 2 for his last 22. 10 strikeouts in that span, including his last 2 at-bats last night.
The only opportunities the Marlins had this afternoon with runners in scoring position was in that 5th inning when they had first and third and nobody out, and they were 0 for 3.
So Mike Stanton gets his first look at Brandon Lyon, and Lyon his first look at Stanton. With the game in the balance in the bottom of the 9th. The tying runs at second. The winning runs at first. Went after the first pitch, the cutter, and he fouls it back.
Good aggressive swing, though.
Breaking ball, Stanton hits in the air to left field. Bourgeois back, now comes in. Manzella calls, and it's Bourgeois who makes the catch, and the ball game is over. And so the Astros salvage 1 game from this 3-game set. The Marlins win streak ends at 5. And Hunter Pence, the difference in this game, he drove in both runs. The second with a home run against Jose Veras, his 19th of the season. Our South Florida Ford spotlight of the game is on Hunter Pence. So the Astros win it, 2-1 the final. Marlins Live is coming up. We'll wrap up this homestand and get you ready for New York on Tuesday night.